Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to be talking about a show I just discovered called Lucky Fred. It's on Peacock. Now, the way I came across this was I was just scrolling through Peacock looking for obscure shows, as I tend to do. I have a weakness for obscure animated television. I like how quirky and, well, oftentimes just cheaply made it is, but sometimes you can find real gems in there too. I've come across a lot of shows like What About Mimi, Strawberry Shortcake, and Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd Century. Now keep in mind, just because I listed a show here doesn't mean it's bad or poorly made or anything, just that it's obscure, and I really enjoy shows like that. Anyway, I was looking around on Peacock when I came across this show, Lucky Fred, and I found the art style to be quite pleasing, so I decided to check it out. Now the premise of Lucky Fred is that there's this girl named Brains, and her father is like this secret agent for this intergalactic organization. She's a secret agent too. Her dad lives in space and she lives on Earth, and they like call each other and he gives her missions. And as is explained in the theme song, he sends this super fighting robot to help her, but it imprints on her neighbor Fred instead of her, so now she has to team up with her neighbor who can control the fighting robot named Friday, and they all fight aliens and super cool stuff like that. So for today, I'll just be reviewing the first 5 episodes, as that's what I've seen so far, but I'm really enjoying it, and I'll definitely be watching more. So I'd have to say one flaw of the show right off the bat, and maybe it's just personal preference, but I wish they spent more time on the aliens and less time on the school drama. It's not really even drama, it's just silly little school time plots that Fred goes through. He's kind of the main character, and I wish the show were more about Brains, because I think she's cool and I just like spy stuff. But, you know, Fred is a fun character, and Friday is like an off-the-wall robot type. You know the type I'm talking about. The Flash animation is pretty good, and it's a fun concept. You know, this little girl who fights aliens. That's a really cool concept. And it, sets up a lot of goofy plots, because she's with this kind of dumb but kind-hearted spaz and a super powerful fighting robot. I really like the characters. I think they avoid a lot of the pitfalls that these shows often fall into. I mean, there's a reason a lot of these shows are obscure. It's because not a lot of them are very good. You're really looking for the gems in all of the creme, if you know what I mean. But this show just really strikes a good balance with these characters. They never go too far to make Fred an unlikable jerk. He's just sort of like, he doesn't really think about other people's feelings so much, but I'm sure he's growing into that, Overall, I enjoy him as the protagonist. Another thing I like is that instead of ending episodes on a played out moral or plot point that they just ended because that's how it's always been ended, they always go a little extra step and do something unexpected. They'll flip the script, if you will, go in a different direction entirely. For instance, Fred has to fight this class bully, and he's been talking it up, yeah, I'm gonna beat you, and he was planning to use Friday, but then all of a sudden he doesn't have access to Friday, so he has to fight the bully on his own after school. But what ends up happening is Brain and her subplot, this alien ends up beating up the school bully, but everyone thinks Fred does it, and so they all celebrate and he gets a big victory, and he didn't do it. It was this alien, but he gets the credit, and then the episode just ends. Now, I'm not saying Fred was like, yeah, he just took the credit and lied about it. I think if he had told everyone what happened, no one would have believed him. Also, he has to keep Brain's secret, but I think that's a fun way to just subvert your expectations. Now, the show was created by, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna butcher this name, Miriam Ballesteros, and was a co-production between a bunch of television studios I can't pronounce and Disney Channel Spain, and it debuted November 1st, 2011. I think that's interesting. That's pretty cool. Disney Channel Spain? I wonder why it's not on Disney Plus. Probably some kind of weird rights issues. The show apparently was popular in a lot of different countries and was distributed very widely. And it got 2 seasons of 52 11-minute episodes each season, so that's like over 100 episodes. According to her IMDb page, Miriam worked on shows like Lucky Fred, Mimi and Mr. Bobo, and Lola and Virginia. I've never really heard of any of these except for Lucky Fred, of course, because that's what the review's about, but maybe I'll check them out. Have any of you guys ever heard of Lucky Fred? Because I never had. If any of you have grown up with it or just have fond memories of it, or maybe you just ran across it the other day, be sure to comment below and let me know what you think, because I'd love to hear your thoughts. I find shows that are obscure, that nobody really talks about, but that are really good, fascinating. Like, what is it that causes one show to get a cult following and be talked about all the time, and another show to just slip under the radar. I mean, sometimes it's because the show is bad or good, but other times it's just, you know, luck of the draw, I guess. And hey, if you have an obscure cartoon that you feel like deserves to be talked about, let me know in the comments down below, and I'll check it out, and maybe I'll talk about it on the channel. I'm always looking for interesting new things to talk about here, and I'd like to go off the beaten path a little and talk about things that are not as much discussed in the cartoon community, as well as covering some of the classics that every reviewer seems to have touched upon. In summary, Lucky Fred is a delightful TV show that's just a little offbeat and fun to watch, and I highly recommend it. Hey, thanks for watching the video. If you liked it, check out my channel for more reviews, as well as updates on all my creative projects. I also have a Reddit, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and my own website, CallumQuinnCreates.com, plus a Patreon where you can support me if you really enjoy my content. Links are in the description. Thanks for watching, and have a great rest of your day.